Hello and welcome to the Anglo Jazz podcast. It is Monday morning. It's not a great Monday morning, is it? After a pretty bad Sunday, a pretty disastrous Sunday, all in all. Not the result that we were hoping for, not the result that we were building up to. I don't know. It's just kind of depressing, isn't it? You're just kind of throwing away all that good work that had been done to this point and handing momentum back to them. I think, had Rangers won yesterday, it could have been actually, a real sign of a momentum change, not only in terms of the title race, the cup competitions this season, but also perhaps the future direction of the SPL and obviously of Scottish football. But instead, Celtic are back, obviously, in ascendancy after that win yesterday, a 2-1 win at Hampden Park. And no excuses. It wasn't good enough. Just was not good enough. Performance wasn't good enough. Team selection was wrong. Tactics were wrong. And as the question I ask as I pause, in the title of this video and on the thumbnail that you saw, is Michael Beale to blame for Rangers' defeat? Is it his fault? And yeah, I think, perhaps majority of it is his fault. And he's got to take some of that blame. And yeah, of course, the players have got to take the blame as well. Some of the chances that were spurned, some of the opportunities that were missed. Some of the guys didn't do their jobs well enough. Connor Goldson in particular, not good enough in defence. Fashion Sakala missing that absolutely when it was easier to score or easier to cross the ball to someone to score than actually miss. He actually manages to miss. What's the answer? Is this team really that bad? Is it in need of a bit of a revamp? We look at the team that Beale named to start the game yesterday, 4-3-3, went away from a 4-2-3-1. The midfield, he put in that midfield. I think you look at that midfield and Malik Tillman, I think, wasn't fit. I know why he took the risk. Of course, you take the risk, but again, you don't really put him in a position where he can influence the game more. That's not really his best position. That's not really his best thing. John Lundstrom, I thought, was absolutely awful, absolutely terrible. Glenn Kamara, again, why Glenn Kamara over Raskin or over Ryan Jack? I don't understand that at all. The front three I thought were fairly poor. Morelos obviously got his goal. A question you've got to ask as well is though why Morelos got his goal and overall he was probably the best of those three. Why take him off and bring on Čolak, who has just been absolutely shocking this season? So obviously Kamaru, it is a big miss, but that substitution for me did not make any sense whatsoever. I thought Barisic had a bad game. Tav was okay. I thought Ben Davis was the best of a bad bunch. He was probably the best defender. Best player that we had on the pitch actually yesterday, Ben Davis. So some reward for his, he deserves some praise for what he did. But overall, the performance just wasn't good enough. It just was not up to it. In a moment, I'm going to share with you what Michael Beale had to say after the game. So hang on to that. That's coming up, what Beale had to say. But, they set off straight away. They tried to defend too much. They didn't get in Celtic's face. You look at the way to beat Celtic. The way to beat Celtic is to get after them, get in their faces, go at them 100 miles an hour. That is the way to make them fold. And Rangers didn't do that. You look at the early possession stats. Rangers were down in the 20% mark. Celtic had at one point 83% possession, and I think came down about 79% possession. But in that first half, they dominated possession. Okay, the possession stats equaled out as the game went on, but the first half in particular, Celtic had the vast majority of the ball, as Rangers seemed only too willing to let them have it and let them play their game, which for me is not right. It's just absolutely not right. And other decisions that were made were bamboozling, really. Why sign Raskin and Cantwell and then not use them until the second half? They come on, they make an impact, they actually raise the level of the game. Our play improves once Raskin and Cantwell come on, but it's too late by that point. We're already 2-0 down. What's the point? At the end of the day, why start Kamara over Raskin? Why start an unfit Tillman over Raskin? Why start an unfit Lundstrom, who was clearly unfit, over Raskin? Raskin has been one of the better players we've had in recent games. He's very positive. He gets the ball going forward. His first intention is always to go forward, but he doesn't play him. And I don't accept what Michael Beale had to say. Michael Beale said it was too big a gamble to play these two guys. Well, if they're too big a gamble, why sign them? You sign players like this for big games. You sign players because you have a confidence they can come in and do a job. And to say it was too big a gamble is utter bollocks, in my opinion, utter rubbish. So there we go. overall, it was a very poor performance from Rangers, a performance that was just not acceptable. Michael Beale had the following to say after the game. He said, "On the day we lost the game and it's not nice, so suck it up, get on board. You've got to look at yourself in the mirror every day, and that's your biggest opponent." Obviously putting this onto the players' side of it. He then went on to say, "Are you being honest with that person? Are you working hard enough? Is the work we're doing good enough?" Perhaps that's judging himself as well as some of the players. Some of the players, I think, do need to take a long, hard look in the mirror. Are they working hard enough? These are the days that we are judged on. We have to win the other games, but on these days, this is when Judgment Day comes, and we get it. We take it on. So that's what we spoke about in the brief moment there. I didn't want anyone making any false opinions in their mind. We lost the game. I think that came post the huddle at the end of the match. And he's right, I suppose. Players have got to take a hard look at themselves. There's a number of players in this lineup who perhaps don't deserve to be there come next season, and perhaps the losing mentality is too ingrained now in them, and they need to change. Beale went on to say, "We started the game really poorly. Really, we never found any rhythm in the first half." But was that more to do with his tactics? The fact that he sat off that was what he sent the team out to do. The formation that he lined up, the way that he played, is that more to do with him than the players? I don't know. We were always in the game, but we never played with the rhythm that we wanted to, that we can. Well, there are no complaints with the overall result. I thought the start of the second half we improved. We had a big moment when Ryan hits the post. We should do better with the rebound. If we score in that moment, then that's it. There might be a momentum change. We find ourselves 2-0 down, but we go and score and show a lot of character and resilience to try and push the game. But I was expecting more from the team, from myself, from the day. It's so disappointing. Obviously Ryan Kent hit the post. There was a point in the first half when we had them under a lot of pressure with a series of corners. Just couldn't take advantage of that. We were sort of chapping on the door, but just couldn't get it in there. At the end of the day, you've got to take your chances against teams like Celtic. These teams, you've got to put your foot on their throat. And then once you've got your foot on their throat, you don't let them let it off. And that's what Rangers did yesterday. They didn't even get the foot on their throat, to be fair. Obviously, Sakala's miss was ridiculous. Alfie pops up with his goal. Well done, Alfie. But at the end, it meant nothing. Beale went on to say the following. He says, "To make a mountain out of today's performance because we've done to come back. That's the first defeat in 15 matches, but there's been a number of games when it's taken half time, honest conversations to force a reaction from the team. I thought the boys that came on did well and we showed more energy and intensity in the game. Celtic were uncomfortable," which of course then begs the question why you didn't start with Raskin and Cantwell if they then made Celtic feel so uncomfortable and really got in Celtic's faces. And we did look better. We did sort of get Celtic into a position where they weren't really coping with us once Cameron and Raskin came on. So why not start with them? I don't understand. But look, it's disappointing. We had a moment in the first half when someone makes an excellent block on a cross. They score in those moments. If Fashion takes that chance at 1-0 and Ryan hits the post, then maybe we're here. It's a different game, but it's not. So no excuses. Celtic won the game, and congratulations to them. I don't want to take anything away from Celtic. They're clearly a very good team, and they've got some very good players. I thought they played well today. So much as I will go back and assess my own team, the resistance from the opponents was a big one. Beale then went on to say, talk about the Scottish Cup thing. He then went on to say, revamp is a better word than rebuild. It's important we recruit and work out one or two futures, but I think we will come back stronger. So I don't think we should get carried away. I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think from this position, there is a need for a rebuild, a revamp. There's players that need to go out, injury-prone players that need to be got rid of. I think new players that need to come in, players with perhaps a more winning mentality, players with a bit more about them to be able to challenge Celtic at that top level. But overall, what ifs? But what if etc. But at the end of the day, team selection was wrong from the start. Tactics were wrong. Impetus was handed to them. That's made different. I don't think the result is the same. And I think Beale has got to carry a lot of the blame for this. He really does have to carry the can for this. And I know it's the players on the park that produce, but at the end of the day, he didn't set them up with the right players or the right tactics to succeed, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying for a minute sack Beale. I'm not saying that. But I think there is a need for a reassessment here, a rebuild here, a revamp here. Certain players, I think, have reached the end of their usefulness with Rangers, and it's time for them to move on. Overall, guys, very disappointed with the result. But hey, we move on. We go on. See what happens. Scottish Cup left to play for. Wraith Rovers in the quarterfinals. That's a massive game now to win. Get to semi-final, hopefully win that, and then get back to Hampden Park to play and hopefully win a Scottish Cup at very least this season. Thanks for watching the Anglo Jers podcast. I've been Owen, your host. Please hit that sub, ring that notification bell, and give this video a like. Thank you, guys. Come on, Rangers. Play up, boys. Let's do this.